day 4 of the 30 days challenge, and today has been one hell of a day. So I started off trying to set up the production instance for Granted, the platform that we're working on. Sorry, I'm Ehoneah Obed. Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, I've started a series where I'm recording daily everything we are doing towards our startup that we're building. The startup is called Granted, and you can find it at grantedtech.ca. So we have somewhat launched our MVP by showing it to the public, but we are racing to put it into the hands of the users, and we have a deadline that is coming up in about 2 days. So that is where we stand now, and today I've been racing to get a production up and running. Unfortunately, it is even 3:21 a.m. right now. Like, that means that I've not slept and a new day has come, but still having some issues. So just to give you update on what happened, we created the Terraform code for setting up the AWS infrastructure. And the Terraform code works great, it sets us up, but a few challenges which I didn't recognize earlier is that the user data. So for those of you who do not know, Terraform allows us to specify the various services on AWS that we want to use. So for instance, AWS has virtual machine services, like a service that allows you to generate virtual machine, and that virtual machine is called an EC2. They have databases services, so we are using RDS with PostgreSQL database. So all of these things, you can write it in code using Terraform, and Terraform will specify that, oh, I want this type of EC2, I want RDS, this settings, and this firewall. So we've done that, and that is working. But the first time you generate the EC2 instance, which is your virtual machine, there are a few things that you need to do. Just like if you get any new computer, there are a few installations that you would want to do on that computer. So the way we do this, the way we automate this is when we write a Terraform script, we introduce user data. And in that user data, we specify all the details of the system that we want. So, hey, once the virtual machine is ready, I need you to install Git on it. I need to install Node.js on it. I need to make sure these things are installed on it so that I can use it when I can pull my code to it and use it immediately afterwards. So we configured everything, we tested it, but something wasn't just right, and we started digging into the logs. That's when we discovered that the user data that we have is not complete. Like, and when it's executed on the EC2 instance, it is not complete. It's not every one of the steps that is executed. So we have to try and understand why. And eventually, it took me several hours, but eventually I figured out that the user data, when you are transferring it wholly, has a limit. So there is a limit of a 16 kilobyte, and in our case, we are doing a whole lot of things. Like, we are doing all these installations, we are doing updating the settings, the configuration for Nginx, which is supposed to serve as the reverse proxy to allow our domain name to connect directly to the Next.js application that we are hosting. So, and not just that, even SSO and every other thing we have included. So essentially, our computer is ready, but it's not ready with the applications or softwares that needs to be installed on it for it to work or enable us to run our web app on it. And that was the challenge. However, another big challenge that I faced was with authenticating with AWS. So my colleague recommended that we use AWS SSO, which is like their new recommended approach to connecting to their services instead of originally using access keys, which I am comfortable with. And we tried it, but I realized that it was giving me a headache, even though I have added it to my bash RC. And it's like every few minutes the session is lost because you're using the session, and you have to restart the whole process, and now it's not even working the way it needs to be working. Every time before I execute that SSO login, I have to export a certain variable. Oh my goodness, it was so frustrating. Like, I can't imagine it's 3:26 a.m. and I'm still sitting here trying to figure this thing out. So eventually I've decided that I want to switch back to using the access keys, because with the access keys the issue is if somebody gets access to them, then you're doomed. But hey, I'm on my computer right now and I hardly even leave the room, so hopefully no security issues with that. I can go ahead and use the access keys, and that is pretty easy. Once I configure that, I do not have to configure it again up until when I terminate it. So that is where we are right now, trying to, in fact, I'm now resorting to using the AI to diagnose some of the scripts that I've written already, so that quickly I can get it up to speed and running. I need to make sure that the user data, in fact I've changed the strategy for the user data because of the 16 kilobyte limit on it. Now I am going to upload the user data, so all the steps that needs to be executed, I'm going to upload it to an S3 bucket. That's like a storage service in AWS. I'll store it there. Then when I create the EC2, which is the virtual machine, I'll then grab the file from, so it's a bash script. I'll grab that bash script from the S3 bucket onto the AWS, the EC2 server, and execute it from there. In that case, there is no limit to the file size, so it would be easier for me to do that. Then once that has been done, the CI/CD pipeline can run to deploy our code. So that is my bet right now, and I am working on it. I was hoping that I get that done before I sleep. But another interesting thing that I did find out is, if you can see my behind me, yeah, so I am having a brainstorming session with the Cursor agent, and this is really awesome. So what I'm trying to do is trying to reimagine some of the functionalities or features that we have built and the way we thought about it, because of the some of the challenges that I'm running into trying to find what the optimal way would be. And one of the prompts over here, I asked them not to write any code. I really wanted us to just brainstorm on all the available possibilities. Then I prompted it to give me a mimic diagram of the flow, and I'm just amazed at the flow, like very detailed workflow, and it makes so much sense. Now I'm visualizing the entire platform, like the main functionalities that I'm looking for has been visualized in this workflow, and I'm going through it and reviewing it and pointing things out. Oh no, this needs to be that way, or getting new insights that I didn't get initially. So that is really amazing, and I like it. I want to convert this into a document so that I know exactly what revamping I'll do over there. So at the moment, I'm trying to finish up with that, thinking around the revamp of some of those functionalities, then also getting our production instance ready. So that is what I've been up to today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more of these, please feel free to comment it down there. If you have any sort of questions along the lines of what we are building, or anything that has to do with how I do things or whatever, please go ahead and drop it in the comments. And once again, let me remind you that this is day 4 of 30 days experiments. I'm just trying to record every single day and learn what comes out of it. Like, yes, I want to get better at recording videos, but what else? And say YouTube, what does YouTube do if I post every single day? And I'm not really pushing this because I have a lot of things going on, but at least let me know at the end of 30 days. I'll come and report to you guys how it goes if you just recorded videos every single day and all. But hey, if you are happy to support me, please cheer me up in the comment section, or leave a like on the video. If you're yet to subscribe to the channel as well, go ahead and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.